Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of Popcorn Problems. My name is Elon Pressman, and I'm here with my very good friend and fellow co host.
Nicholas DePasco. Every week, we'll make sure you're caught up with the biggest news and movies in Hollywood.
This week, we're reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's 2, one of last weekend's biggest new releases. But before we get to that, what's poppin'? Where we run through the biggest movie stories of the week. What's up, guys? Welcome to this week's episode. I'm very happy to have you guys here. Um, we have quite an interesting episode in front of us. We have some interesting news
Lots
to
of time.
talk about, which I'm looking forward to discussing. Um, but yeah, as always, let's start with the box office. So at number one for the week was Five Nights at Freddy's 2. In its opening weekend, it made 63 million domestically, 109 million global on a 35 to 45 million dollar budget. It overperformed the expectations, which were 40 million projected for domestic, and that means it's the biggest post Thanksgiving opening ever. But it was still 21% below the original, which opened at 80 million. And the original launched on Peacock on the same day, so it's not gonna be as big as the first one probably, but that's probably because I remember when that one came out, there wasn't really much else in the movie theaters, and right now, low key, the theaters are kind of really full. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, perfect example of that is Zootopia in its second week pulled in $43 million domestic, which means that domestically it's at a 220.5 million total, and global. Do you want to guess what it's at globally, Nick?
Zootopia 2?
Yeah,
What'd you say was that domestically again?
220.5.
I'm gonna guess 750 million globally.
It's at 914
Damn!
915.8 million. So expect,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
expect in the next few months, a Zootopia 3, 4, and 5 to get greenlit, and
Yeah, for sure. And then
Zootopia to double down. Yeah, Disney to double down on the Zootopia franchise.
oh my god. I mean, you know what? I'm happy. It's a good movie. It's just the franchise of it all. It's gonna be so oversaturated. It's gonna be so oversaturated.
Yeah,
Trust.
definitely. It's just I guess my perspective is like if it was gonna be any franchise, I guess I'm happy it was Zootopia.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose so.
Yeah. So and then number three for the week was Wicked for Good. In its third week, it brought in 16.75 million domestically, which is a 73% drop from last week. Uh, Domestic, it's at 296.95 mil, and global, it's at 440.1 mil. It is definitely lagging behind the first one, so I don't think it's
I
gonna
was
make
gonna
as
ask.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna make as much as the first one because the first one I think ended in the 700 million range.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this one is like behind that one significantly. Like it had a lower, I think it had a bigger opening weekend, but the following weekends have all been lower. So yeah, we'll see how
Yeah.
that one ended out. I think at some point I thought this movie was gonna reach a billion, but I definitely don't stick by that point anymore.
I don't think people like it enough for it to be a billion.
Yeah, I think if it was good and it had like a big rewatchability factor, it definitely could have had a
Yeah,
chance. But yeah. Um,
that's a
Another interesting thing, I guess, on the top 10 that I wanted to mention was Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. That opened at sixth place with 3.25 million domestically on only 1,198 screens.
cool. I mean, I'm. Are you gonna watch it?
So I wanted to, and then I found out it's not included with my A-list benefits.
Really?
Yeah, because it's
That's
like
interesting.
yeah, it's like excluded from A-list, and so I'm not gonna watch anymore. I was literally gonna go watch it.
That's
I think it was Saturday. I was gonna go. I literally was gonna buying the ticket, and then it was like, hey, you can't go. You can't see this. You have to pay for it. I was like,
that's
I'm
so
okay.
bullshit.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm gonna watch it on Thursday, and I thought I was gonna do that. Like I thought I was gonna exclude my Regal subscription, but it didn't. And I was like, oh, bet, cool. Let me just go and so I'm gonna watch it on Thursday. And I'm excited, but that sucks. Like that sucks that it doesn't see. Sometimes the what they choose to remove from A list is so BS. I mean, like a lot of times it's like Fathom events.
Yeah, but this isn't a
But then
Fathom
it's like
event.
stuff like that.
It's just a normal
Yeah, I
release,
know.
so I don't know why it's not. Anyway,
Disappointing.
So this post Thanksgiving weekend is the highest of all time. Typically, the post Thanksgiving weekend they don't really drop new releases, just because there's plenty of stuff that came out on Thanksgiving. But this year they dropped a movie of Five Nights at Freddy's too, which means that it is a record-breaking weekend with a $153.8 million total. So that's pretty cool. The next thing I want to talk about is we kind of got the first numbers for the Stranger Things 5 Volume 1 release, and I'm pretty interested how this fifth season's going to do. So that's why I want to kind of go over it. Out of the gate in week 1, it had 15.2 million views, and that equated to about 71.7 million watch hours.
Hmm.
On Thursday alone, the day it dropped, it received 4.1 million views, which is the biggest opening day for any Netflix series ever. In the first 3 days, it was 59.6 million views. Um, this makes it the biggest premiere week ever for any English show on Netflix, and it is the only shows that have opened bigger were Squid Game season 2 and 3.
Wow. All right.
And
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
those were all full seasons. 2 and 3 were both full seasons, while this
Hmm.
was only what 4 episodes, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, I mean,
that
I know a lot of people do the thing that I do, which is like, I might just not watch a show for like ever, and then I'll pop in for like the last season to see how everything ends. You know what I mean? So that probably makes sense.
yeah, so we'll see. I'm more curious to see how like the finale specifically is gonna do.
Yeah.
So we'll see from there. So here is the big piece of news for the week. Warner Bros. Discovery chooses Netflix as a buyer. So Warner Bros. Picked Netflix as a winning bid for its studio and HBO library for the asking price of $30 per share. The deal is valued at around $82.7 billion. The Warner Bros. Shareholders are going to get cash, plus they're going to get Netflix stock as well. This is causing some drama because obviously Paramount slash Skydance was the main, not target, I guess that's not the right word, but main prediction for who was going to win the war,
Yeah.
for Warner Bros. And so Paramount sent like letters to the people at Warner Bros. Saying that the process was biased, and saying they were joking. They claimed that Warner Bros. Execs were picking whoever gives them the best future jobs. Um, the WGA called it what antitrust laws were designed to prevent. The DGA said that it raises significant concerns. Cinema United labeled it as an unprecedented threat to theaters, claiming it could remove up to 25% of annual domestic box office. SAG-AFTRA demanded the deal must create more production, not less, and Elizabeth Warren slammed it as an anti-monopoly nightmare with control of nearly half of the streaming market. Um, Nick, what do you think about Warner Bros. Being possibly bought by Netflix?
Um, I don't know. Okay, so like when it first happened, when the news first dropped, I was 100% in panic mode. Like everyone else, I was like, "Oh shit! Like we're done. We're cooked. Um, there's no way we're coming out of this, and there's no way that good things are gonna come out of this." And I still believe that. I still believe that like at the overall this is a net negative for the industries, for the industry, for movies, for as like a creative front, for everything that has to do with like filmmaking, from beginning of production to end. um it's just gonna be a lot more. I think it's just gonna be a lot worse now, just because, well, you have this one company that's completely absorbing the other, and so I don't even, I don't know. It's hard to really describe, but I guess after a few days of really like processing the information of it,
Mm-hmm.
I do I feel like, what was the alternative here? The alternative here is that Warner Brothers is in massive debt despite having one of the greatest years that they've had in a long time. I think it was. I wish I was more exact about this, but I think it was an executive or something close, someone close to being an executive at Warner Brothers, who said that despite this being such a great year, um, they would not. They would still be in the massive debt situation that they are, and it would not like help anything that they're going through right now. And be a drop in the bucket. So so the alternative either Netflix buy Warner Brothers, or Warner Brothers continues in their debt, potentially going bankrupt, and we don't see anything about them anytime soon, and they're more vulnerable to an even more let's say venomous company to purchase them. What I will say is this also: Netflix, they have no interest or genuine pursuit in movie theaters. They might release a movie theater, or they might release a movie in theaters here and there, but they don't care.
They
They
do it
obviously for
just to qualify for awards because
exactly.
you need to
And
be in at least like I think you need to play in like two theaters for like a week to be eligible. So
actually, Larry, well, there you go. But what I will say is this: they might not care about theaters, but to some extent, some aspects of their executives or production or whatever, they care about movies. They're producing movies like Jay Kelly, movies like Knives Out, movies like Frankenstein. Like they on some level they still care about the artist, the quality of the artist, and bringing that to audiences. The unfortunate thing about that is the theater aspect of it, because I love seeing these movies in theaters. A lot of these people who are being outspoken are seeing these movies or want to see these movies in theaters, and they gave some sort of like bullshit assurance that like, oh yeah, we're still gonna put movies in theaters, but like it'll just have a shorter release window. Bro, it's gonna be out for like a week, and then they're gonna bring it
yeah,
back. That's it.
yeah,
That's it.
pretty much that's pretty much like the dark future we're heading towards.
Unfortunate. So yeah, I mean, on a cinema level, I love going to the cinema. It's genuinely a religious experience for me. So it's gonna be heartbreaking seeing these next few weeks or these next few years, seeing what happens, how the cinema industry slowly crumbles down, because it'll be a slow and painful death if it does end up dying, if this deal does come through, because there are some reports saying that might not happen, whatever, yada yada yada. It doesn't happen until it happens, essentially, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be closed until I think Q3 or Q4 of 2026. So we're just gonna have to wait till then. But I'm sure they're already starting the process of transferring things from Warner Brothers IP to Netflix IP. So we'll just see. We'll just see. I'm trying to look at the bigger picture of it in terms of like, at least we'll still get Warner Brothers movies. At least we'll still get movies, and at least we're still getting them from a company that I want to say maybe 40 to 50% of the time cares about the quality of their films.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's my take. What about you, Alon? What do you think?
So yeah, it seems like you're looking at this in kind of more of a positive light, which I respect.
Hmm.
Um, I think overall this is pretty bad. There's something that feels really wrong to me about one of the oldest studios in Hollywood being owned by like a 21st century company.
Hmm.
Like
For sure.
a company that started by like just mailing DVDs. It just I don't there's just something like inherently off-putting about that idea. Um, yeah, at the end of the day, it's just gonna be one less studio, one less place for artists and creatives to go to pitch their ideas. And we know how Netflix is. I mean, there were reports that came out about them like adjusting their scripts to be understandable if like you're watching it in the background, like basically
Yeah.
dumbing down their content. And I'm not gonna lie, I can already see some effects of that in like Stranger Things season 5, which we
Oh,
reviewed.
100%.
I liked it, but they really like every scene. I feel like they're repeating what happened. Like, remember when we did this, this, and that, and so this can happen. It's like they're really trying to make sure if you're not paying attention that you could still loosely follow. And I'm just worried about the effects it's gonna have. Um, if anything, we should be creating more studios, not combining to make less. And I guess that's how I'm gonna be looking at it. Um, and I'm really hoping that when they say they're gonna stick to theatrical releases with just shorter windows, that it's not the 1 week, 2 weeks that they've been doing. Um, at least 3 weeks. That's what I know Universal does with their not best performing movies. They'll send them to digital after 3 weeks. So at least 3 weeks, but I mean, preferably a month. Because eventually, if you're gonna teach audiences that movies are just gonna be on Netflix or are gonna be, at home if you wait 3 weeks, they're not gonna go to the theaters, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of they're training the audience to not want to go to the movie theater, and I think that the current state of movies has a lot to do with Netflix and how it's handling things, and so yeah, fuck Netflix. I I really hope I don't know. I hope that they make the right choices with how they're going to handle the studio.
Yeah, I don't really trust that Netflix is gonna make like all the right choices, especially after the CEO's been talking, Ted Sarandos or something like that.
Hmm.
Especially like how much he's been yapping on and on. It's like you give me no trust in your ability
Yeah,
to actually manage this
yeah. I
company.
feel
You know
like
what I
it's
mean?
all
Like,
words at the moment, and so I guess we'll have to
yeah,
see how it's
exactly.
going to play out. I just watched Rental Family this week, which I'll
Uh
review
huh.
when we get to what we've been talking. But that's from Searchlight,
Mm-hmm.
which like used to be 20th Century Fox, and so I
Mm-hmm.
look at what happened to Fox, like the actual like brand name, after Disney acquired it. It's like nothing. The Searchlight name, which is what they renamed it to, I feel like it holds no value. I see their intro and I'm like, oh damn, this is a pointless company, and I really don't want that to happen to Warner Bros. As well. So
Yeah, it's just the loss of identity is what really hurts about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like what you
That's
said,
the biggest
Searchlight.
problem. Yeah,
Searchlight was absolutely gutted. Fox in general was absolutely gutted. Everything that's Fox is now Disney. Like we see Simpsons ads for every major Disney release now. It's honestly embarrassing. Um,
yeah. They're like
yeah,
the
I don't
face of
know.
Disney Plus in my head, pretty much.
Yeah. They oh god, they really are. They really are those poor yellow, those poor yellow. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It really is a loss of identity for Warner Brothers. At some point, we're just not gonna like in like 3 4 generations in the future. People are gonna be like, "What the fuck is Warner Brothers?" Like, you know what I mean? They're just gonna know about Netflix, and
It's kind of
I
sad.
think it is no. It's incredibly
It's
sad.
kind of
It's
sad when you
incredibly
say it
sad.
like that.
Yeah, because also because Warner Brothers is genuinely one of my favorite companies. I love them for being the not Disney. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what a lot of people know them for. But yeah, like I love them for Looney Tunes. I love them for now I'm thinking now I'm trying to remember other other Warner Brothers IP. For HBO, I love them. Honestly, when I think of Warner Brothers, I think of Looney Tunes. So
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
guess
That's really fair.
uh yeah, so I guess like on that extent, and what I'll say is this, right? Also, HBO Max has been on the downhill ever since I want to say maybe for the past year and a half, 2 years. They've been removing content that Warner Brothers owns. They've been removing content left and right. I want to be specific and say the Cartoon Network and Adult Swim content. I think they
Yeah,
also
yeah,
removed
they've
like
taken so many of
a
the animated shows off, like removing specific
yeah,
seasons.
uh huh.
Like it's just weird. It's just weird.
Which is why I'm like thinking like okay like they're really in the gutter in terms of like money, and I could see, you know, I guess giving people access to this, even if it's on Netflix or Warner Brothers or whatever name exists in the future. Maybe that's what like the important factor is, but it still is. It's still really depressing to know that like that these companies that you grew up for and hopefully wanted to work with one day. Just like you'll have to go through so many hoops, so many more hoops and ladders, and you have to go through the Netflix process of doing things, and you can't just like go to, oh, let me just go to Warner Brothers or whatever. Like, no, like you have to go through this, or you can go through the Disney process, and then if you want to go through Fox, you have to. It's it just makes everything so much more difficult, so much more bureaucratic. Um, and yeah, I don't even know what the industry is gonna look like in like literally 2 years from now. It'll be something completely different. We might just have two companies. That's it.
Yeah,
Netflix and Disney.
yeah. I would have preferred Paramount Skydance to have acquired um, Netflix. Not Netflix. Sorry, Warner Bros. Personally,
I yeah.
but
I I don't know if I would have preferred that
I think
just
it would have been the
because
better of two evils. Personally,
I could see that happening. I guess like in terms of the cinema, I mean Paramount still has stake in cinema, especially after I think theirs was what CBS All Access, especially after CBS All Access closed.
hmm
Um, or I don't know if it's closed. It might still be a thing. Who knows? But nobody cares for it. Um, they do have more of a stake in cinema that would keep the vitality of the theaters alive. But I also saw a report that Paramount is going to be very IP focused from here on out and very middle of the ground, like appealing to everyone. They're going to be making those sort of movies. With Sonic and a lot of the NTV stuff,
so they're
and
becoming Lionsgate, is what I'm hearing.
yeah. Wait, you mean literally or figuratively?
Like figuratively, because Lionsgate hasn't
Oh,
produced an
okay.
interesting movie in years. I feel
Exactly,
like every time I see
exactly.
a Lionsgate trailer, it's just the most safe and personality-less project ever.
That's what I mean. Or that or Hunger Games. That's literally it. So that's what I mean. Like yeah, like they're becoming very IP centered, very middle of the ground movies, and they literally said that in one of their latest releases, I guess, or news updates. So for them to be owning Warner Brothers like that and then driving Warner Brothers like that as a company, it would also be very depressing to see. I guess that's like the one silver lining for me is that Netflix still kind of gives a shit about making things that aren't for everyone and then in turn seeing the profit. Like I don't know. I don't see a company like Paramount making K-pop Demon Hunters today.
hmm
Um and I think K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm just going to use this as an example. I gave a bunch back then, but I think K-pop Demon Hunters is something that like yeah, only Netflix could have made. Only Netflix could have really like, only Netflix and Sony could have really like put their trust in and been like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be something. Even if it gets like five, because that's what they said. They said that like they didn't expect K-pop Demon Hunters to be like this big thing, but once it became this big thing, they were like, okay, now we have this great thing. Now let's try to push it out to theaters. Now let's try to push it out to people that want to watch it. Um, even if it was for like what a weekend or so or something like that, maybe like a day. That's what I mean when I say like the silver lining is Netflix still kind of cares about the quality of their films and making things that aren't just middle of the ground IP focused. Just
hmm
because they have the ability. Oh my god, I think they own Harry Potter. Warner Brothers. Yeah, Harry Potter.
Yes. Oh my God.
Um
What is this gonna mean for the Harry Potter TV show? I
I
can
was thinking
guarantee
about
you
that.
that's getting canceled. That is not happening.
I don't know if
Or
it's getting canceled. I think they just might release it on Netflix, honestly. I don't think
yeah.
they're going to release it on HBO Max anymore.
But do you think
Fuck.
the company that took three seasons, 3 years in between each Stranger Things season is gonna be able to do what is it, 7 seasons of Harry Potter before these kids age out
I
in the
will
roles?
say no. No, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. I think I will say the I think what happened with Stranger Things happened because of the Duffer Brothers. I don't think they know what they're doing in terms of writing, and I think it took them that long because they were writing the seasons.
Well, yeah, they also got
Um,
cooked because of
the
COVID and
pandemic.
then the
Yeah, yeah,
writer's
yeah, yeah.
strike. I mean, a whole lot of shitty circumstances.
For sure, for sure. But no, absolutely not. They're not gonna make this Harry Potter show in time for what is it? They're gonna make like half a season. Like no, they're gonna make one season like half a book or something like that. I don't even know. I think it's a season a book, but we'll see. We'll see that how that turns out.
I mean,
It'll probably just be a
literally,
Netflix.
what were you
Sorry,
saying?
what? I
No,
was
I
just
was
gonna
just,
say it's probably just be a Netflix original now.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at like Welcome to Derry. After you could see like in one of the, I think it was after episode 4, they had to shut down
Mm-hmm.
production because of the strikes, and so
Mm.
they shut down production for however many months it is, and so like the actors look noticeably older from like when,
Really?
like not like crazy it takes me out, but like
Right, right,
you
right.
know as like a kid like you see your brother 1 month, you don't see him for like 8 months, he's gonna look somewhat different just because that's just how
For
kids
sure.
are growing.
Yeah, yeah.
And like one of the kids specifically, like is really like you can see his face really matured, and it's funny. Like I I was concerned about that show from its first announcement, and it just keeps I keep getting doubtful more and more. I think that's gonna be a
Uh-huh.
train wreck of a situation whenever they end up releasing it.
Ugh, when when the finale for it Welcome to Derry comes out and it's an Avengers Endgame style thing with
Yeah,
the
and the
Stranger
Stranger
Things
Things kids
kids.
come out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's tough. Yeah, there's no way that these shows are going to be made in time for these kids not to grow out of it. It's the Stranger Things effect. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I feel like that's also one of the reasons, I guess, why they made a new Harry Potter to begin with, because they want to. I went to I think I already said this in the pod. I went to Epic Universe like a few weeks ago, and spoilers for the Harry Potter ride, but
Oh, it
on the Harry Potter
sucks.
ride, it sucks. I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh, I didn't like it personally.
I thought it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't anything to write home about, but
How long did you wait
like
for it?
I we waited maybe like I want to say like maybe 30-45 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. Did you like rope drop it like first thing?
No, it was actually the last one of the last ride. It was the second to last ride we went on. It was maybe I think they closed at 10, so I think we went there at like I want to say 8:50 or 9,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then yeah, as the park was slowing down. Um but what the reason I bring this up is like I thought it was interesting how although the whole theme of the world of Harry Potter was Fantastic Beasts, they still use the Harry Potter kids for that ride, and I'm like, how long is this gonna last? Because I don't even know how they got that footage. I don't know if it's like I'm
Oh,
literally
I was
talking out of my
thinking the
ass here.
same exact thing. I was thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah, because they're not. Yeah, none of this shit happens in the movie. None of what they're saying happens in the movie. I was thinking like, is this maybe AI generated? Did they like get the guys and then like the three kids and then like what is it? De-age their faces with AI or deepfakes or whatever it is. I think that's a possibility, but I believe that's why they want to make the new show, the new Harry Potter show, because they want not only do they just want to like get more money off the Harry Potter IP, and get more fans. But I also think they just want to revitalize it so that they don't have to be constantly using uh I forget their names. Daniel Radcliffe and the other ones. The girl and the ginger.
The thing is,
I
they hit it so out of the park with the castings the first time.
For
I'm
sure.
I really like I don't know why you would ever want like I feel like personally if I owned like the company, if I owned Harry Potter as a franchise, I would
Hmm.
be so grateful that the casting directors casted who they did because they were just perfect in the role, and there are ways to keep the Harry Potter franchise going without rebooting it. And so ugh, stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think they want I just think they want new fans, new kid fans. I guess it is kind of a thing where like kids don't really, or at least I don't know, me. I sound like I have an eye or whatever. But I don't think I really hear kids talking about like Harry Potter, like really caring like about Harry Potter like that. So I could understand like making the reboot, and then also from the reboot expanding into the other worlds. I have a coworker who's like really a big fan of Harry Potter, and they were like, oh, they could do this show and that show. They could tell the story of like Sleepy Hollow and then the story of like the map or whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm like, yeah,
that's what
those
it
are.
should have been. It should have been a
I
show
think
about the Marauders and about the map. I don't think that they needed to reboot the whole thing to do these shows. Like I think they could have done their spin-offs just in the continuity of the other of the other movies. Um, I don't know. One thing I'm getting really tired is of these big, high budget, um, effect heavy franchises doing the TV show route.
Mm,
It's because they can never reach their full potential. They can never look as good as they can because they're on a TV budget.
mm-hmm.
And so it's always just like people excuse it. It's like, oh, but it looks so good for a TV show. Fuck you. It shouldn't be a TV show.
Yeah.
Like, don't make me a Harry Potter TV show. Harry Potter is a should be a high budget, you know, high visual effect production to be seen in theaters, not on my TV on Netflix at this point. You know,
So would you be more okay if the Harry Potter reboot were in new movies?
I think so.
Okay.
Uh,
I
I don't
think that's
know.
fair.
I I don't know. Maybe.
I think
I think it's too
yeah, I don't
soon.
know.
That's the thing. I think it's just too soon to reboot it. It's way too soon. They could continue in the series and like do other shows in the context of the universe. But I mean, they only finished 15 years ago. Like the last one came out 15 years ago. That's not that long ago at all. And I mean, like we started rebooting a lot of older franchises just because effects have gotten so far since the older franchises. But
Hmm.
effects haven't improved significantly since 2011. I just don't see what you can do drastically differently to like separate it. And I feel like you're just setting these kids up to be bullied for the rest of their lives. Um, I don't know. I'm worried for them. I think they're gonna get shit on, but we'll see.
Yeah, I honestly have nothing to say against that. Like, I think that's true. The only, like I said, I'm not even a Harry Potter fan, so I'm really honestly looking at this from a franchise perspective more than the actual care for the characters or for the story or whatever. And on that extent, I could see the benefit or the value of rebooting Harry Potter. You get to explore these stories that you and my coworker were talking about, while also not having to, I guess, worry about the Daniel Radcliffe and, I'm gonna say their names, Emma Watson and Rupert Grint, um, like aging out too far into, like, I don't know how old they are right now, but like until like their 40s or 50s, and still them having to play these characters in like flashbacks or flash forwards or whatever it
But
is.
they don't have to play these characters. That's the thing. They can easily, if they want to continue with Harry Potter, they can move the story forward and have them play older versions of themselves. I just don't think that there's a point in rebooting the same story 100 times, especially when I feel like it was done really effective, like as effectively as it could have been done the first go around. I feel like, you know, they got really lucky that everything worked out. They were able to film all the movies without any major recasts or, you know, other than Dumbledore because the actor passed away. But I'm talking about with the kids. They
Yeah,
were
yeah.
really. I feel like they got really lucky with it, and it's just. For example, their current Dumbledore, I love that actor. He's old as fuck. He's not living to
That's
finish
very
the
true.
series, and that's sad. But it's like, what the fuck? Like, that would be, I guess, one of the biggest things is to have the same Dumbledore from the start of the series to the end, because obviously they had to recast the first go around because the actor passed away after the second film. But
Hmm.
then you're gonna go and hire someone who, I hate to say it, with how long the show's gonna take to be completed, I don't think he's gonna make it to the end. You know,
Hmm.
like how old is he now? Let me see.
He's 80 years old
There you go. I mean,
currently.
I don't know. We'll see. John Lithgow.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at a picture of him right now. He looks just like how he does in the movies. Like everything looks the same. There's not a different take on it that we can tell yet. It looks
Hmm.
pointless to me. It looks like a pointless reboot.
What I also will say is, from the set photos that we've seen of like the costumes and everything like that, it does look absolutely identical. It
Yeah, it looks
looks
the
it,
exact same.
and on that extent, I will say, yeah. What's the point of this? What's the point of this if you're not going to make it anything other than new and interesting? You know what I mean? Um, I think that on that extent, it's going to be embarrassing to see if it. I'm thinking of it as, here's a new take on Harry Potter. I don't think they're thinking on it about it as a new take of Harry Potter. I think they're really just trying to imitate those first those films, the films that already exist.
That's
So
so
if that's the
lame.
case,
That's so lame.
if that's the case, then yeah, there's absolutely no point. Whatever. Cancel the whole thing, bring it down, burn Warner Brothers down to the ground. No, no, I don't know. I could see it working out, but I don't think they. I think it's become one of those things where it's sacred now, and I think I can't think of a I guess verb to describe that as, but I think things becoming sacred is what kills franchises. Is when people become too scared to do anything new or interesting, or present things in new and interesting ways. I feel like that's what's happening to like a lot of Disney IP. I feel like it's kind of what happened to Marvel.
Hmm.
Um, and that's also one of the reasons why I like DC. Even back then, even with the Zack Snyder, even when the Zack Snyderverse was happening, which who knows what'll happen with that now that Netflix owns Warner Brothers again, or not again. We'll see. God, I think that was the funniest thing once the deal was announced. That seeing all the Zack Snyder heads come out of their
Yeah, I
little
mean, the
holes.
percent chance of the Snyderverse continuing might have just went from 0% to like 5.
Yeah, no, I I
It is
know
no longer impossible because
it is
they
no
love Zack
longer
Snyder over
impossible.
there. So I mean, they might even just give him like an animated version, let him direct
I could see
like
that.
something. They could definitely be something, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
impossible. It's not 0, which is crazy. I think that's really funny.
At the end of the day, Zack Snyder heads stay winning. Like we might laugh at them, but they kind of stay winning, low key. Um, shit, it's that's crazy to think. But what I was saying was like, yeah, like even back then when that was happening, I wouldn't consider like I mean DC is a sacred franchise, but what I'm saying is like they don't treat it sacred. They're more than able and more than excited to take risks for these franchises, and I think Harry Potter is one of those franchises where it's too sacred now. There's too much money banking on it. You got the parks, um you got like the books, obviously, you got all these different like fans that have this definitive idea of what Harry Potter is, and they are too afraid to make it
Hmm.
anything different than what's literally shown in the parks. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, there is kind of no point in this reboot, honestly.
Yeah, I love
Um,
how we got so sidetracked that we've just been talking
yeah,
about this
genuinely.
Harry Potter reboot for like the past 15 minutes because we just fuck that shit.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Like shit,
Yeah,
it's gonna be us. Everything in these next 2 to 3 years is gonna be poop from a butt. So
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. The next thing I wanted to mention was we got the Golden Globe nominations that came out
Oh,
yesterday.
okay.
And I just wanted to kind of give the highlights. One Battle After
Mm-hmm.
Another got the most nominations with 9 this year. It means it's the current front runner. And then on the TV side, White Lotus got 6 nominations, and it's the most for any TV show. Um, Netflix as a studio was the biggest between films and series. It got 35 nominations. Um, Other than One Battle After Another, there are movies such as Frankenstein, Hamnet, Sinners, and Sentimental Value are all really strong contenders. And then something interesting I noticed is that they introduced a best podcast category this year. So I think that's pretty
Wait,
cool.
really? Are we
Yeah,
nominated?
dude, I think we just missed it. I think like
God, God damn
yeah,
it!
it
Oh,
was like
shit.
between us and Good Hang with Amy Poehler, and I think
I see. I
they
see. I
she
see.
took the spot. Yeah,
Well, whatever. I guess they have more time. Next year, though, for sure.
yeah, definitely. So I like the Golden Globes. I like how they separate the category between like musical slash comedy and drama.
Yeah,
So
I think that's an interesting way of doing things. I never really watched the Golden Globes, but I keep an eye out. You know.
hmm okay, so that's it with the Golden Globes. I am a big slasher fan. You guys know that. And so there's something that I read about that I think is honestly incredible and I'm really excited for. It's called Slay Day. That's the name of the film. It's going to be a choose your own death horror movie. So the new film slated for a fall 2026 release date. It's going to let audiences vote live with their phones during the movie. It's essentially a choose your own adventure book, but during the film. Um, Choices decide classic horror tropes such as splitting up, trusting people, running upstairs. It's going to have 20 plus different endings. One ending is where everyone dies, one ending is where there's only one survivor, etc. Then after theaters, it's going to be released as a playable experience on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox. I think this is really cool. I'm honestly really excited for this. I think this is really sick. It seems it's like it's going to be next year Halloween, so it's going to fit the spooky vibe. And I think it's just a creative take, and it's another way to get people to the theaters. It's like a gimmick, I guess. So I think it's pretty cool.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even know about that. That's a very interesting. I think the one thing for me is just like having your phone out in the theater is gonna be really annoying. I get really annoyed by that. But I guess like if that's the whole point, like that's the whole point.
Yeah,
Um, you have to kind of go into the movie expecting that. Yeah, I it's an experiment. I'm down to experiment. I'm down to see that.
I just think it's really interesting because I really liked Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid. So it's
Yeah.
essentially the same thing, but as a movie. And
Hmm.
so yeah, I'll be curious to see how this goes. And 20 plus different endings is a lot. There's a lot of variations, and so I think that could be big for the rewatchability factor, or I guess
Hmm.
replayability. I don't know how you would describe it, but I think it's the type of thing that it could make up for multiple goes to the theaters. It could be really fun.
For sure. Yeah, I also think it'd be interesting how it's gonna work, like the system behind it. Like how are we gonna know what theater? How is it gonna change? How is it gonna like all of the different aspects that would require the movie to actually like work, for the different endings and everything like that. How are the
Hmm.
votes gonna be counted? Is it gonna all through be like through a signal? Is there gonna be some guy in the projection room constantly switching the reel? Not that they do that anymore. Um, I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
very interested to see how everything is
I'm
gonna
really,
work.
really interested. I'm really excited, to be honest. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
if
down.
I had to guess, it would function like a video game playing on the projector, and it would just be hooked up
Hmm.
to a server. And I imagine you're gonna like scan a QR code or like get like a website and then like a 6 digit code to like put you into the theater, and then it'll just be like a Telltale game, kind of
Hmm.
from that point. I guess we'll see.
I don't know if I missed it. Was there a distributor attached to it?
Um, I don't have one noted, so I don't maybe not yet, but it is
Okay.
slated for fall 2026. So I'm not sure. It just might be a small distributor.
All right. Well, we'll
Yeah.
see.
I have three more just small pieces of info. Like you
Sure.
mentioned earlier, Paramount did give out some news this week. Among that, they set a 2028 release for a new live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and a Sonic the Hedgehog live action like crossover film. So this is
Hmm.
on top of the Sonic
Wait, with
Force.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, no, no. It's two separate projects.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Just they're both gonna release in 2028 from Paramount. This Sonic the Hedgehog movie, it's like on top of Sonic 4. So
Hmm.
I guess Sonic 4 is gonna lead into whatever this is, and then we're gonna have a live action Ninja Turtles reboot also in 2028. Scarlett Johansson is in final talks to join Robert Pattinson in The Batman Part 2, probably in a villain role. Not really sure who, but that's pretty cool. And we have an announcement that Sony taps Bad Boys for Life writer to script a new Men in Black film with Will Smith, currently expected to return. No deal has been finalized yet.
Interesting. I didn't know about that last Men in Black thing. I'm down for that. Um, yeah, I'd like to see a new Men in Black movie. And as a fan of both Sonic and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm excited to
Yeah,
see where this
pretty good
goes.
news.
Sorry?
I just said it was pretty good news. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's good news too. I don't know. I'm interested to see like what aspects of the lore they really bring out, or what even the Sonic event film could even be. Um, Especially because
Yeah,
every game,
because uh, they're releasing one the year before. So,
yeah.
and this movie was described as an event film. So I don't know what in the context of Sonic. 'Cause I was never. I mean, I was a Sonic fan, but I was never like a
Hmm.
crazy Sonic fan. So I
Yeah.
don't know what in the context of Sonic there could be an event film. The first thing that my mind jumped to was like Super Mario Sonic Olympics, but there's definitely not gonna be that. So I have no clue. We'll see.
I mean, there definitely are stories in the games where like an event could take place, or where it was like it could be a big deal. I just don't. I don't know. Like there's one game where like I forgot his name right now, but it's like this like giant like horizontal monster demon thing, and it like comes from the ground. I think they fight it in '06, in Sonic '06.
Mhm.
um and then there's also Sonic Unleashed. They could do that. I'd love a Sonic Unleashed movie. That was my favorite Sonic game as a kid. So how do you know about Sonic Unleashed?
I've heard of it. I haven't played it.
Yeah. Well, for those who don't know, it's the one where he turns into a werewolf. I don't think they're gonna do that, but it'd be great. Um, yeah, I think it'd also be interesting to see how they move away, or how they move forward with this franchise without Eggman being the main villain. I guess they did that kind of for Sonic 3, where it was like his dad who was the main villain, but still it was basically him. Um, I don't know how much they're gonna involve Jim Carrey, how much Jim Carrey is gonna want to return. Um, but we'll see. I guess I don't know. There's definitely things that you can do with the Sonic franchise to make an event film. I'm just it's more about picking. It's more about picking, and I'm interested to see what comes out of it. What lore they bring into it. Um, I don't know. I hope AVGN, the Angry Video Game Nerd, has a cameo in there somewhere, and
Oh, that'd be
also
cool.
that'd be sick. Yeah, and also you know, considering the direction that they're taking with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, considering Mutant Mayhem, which was one of my favorite movies of, I want to say 2023, the year that it came out. Um, do I like trust Paramount with what they're doing? No, not necessarily, but I could see hope in this, and I think Team Mutant Ninja Turtles is one of those franchises that I don't mind continuous like reiterations of.
Yeah.
Just because like that's kind of how it's always existed. You know what I mean? Like there's always been a new vision, a new take on it, and it gives itself to that sort of ability to be able to do it, to be able to like have different visionaries like see what else they want to do with it. And
Hmm.
live action, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. That's kind of the whole point of these characters, is like seeing them as like freaks in live action, seeing what's happening. So and I really loved Mutant Mayhem. I'm gonna watch this new like short that they're releasing before SpongeBob, and I'm excited for Team Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I like the sequel to Mutant Mayhem. I think
Yeah,
it's gonna
I,
be
I'm excited for
great.
that one a lot.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of what's poppin'. I think this is actually our longest what's poppin' segment. That's really
I
cool.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah, and
a lot happened
into
last week.
yeah, a lot did happen, and so that moves us into what we watched. I'll start. I just kind of want to talk about Rental Family. I watched a few things this week, and I'm gonna give kind of quick reviews of each because
Hmm.
I wanted to mention all of them. So first, I'm gonna talk about Rental Family. I think it was a really sweet and tender movie. It was really well paced. Brendan Fraser's really like I just want to give him a hug in it. The whole
Yeah.
film, I'm looking at him, I'm like, wow, this guy just really needs a hug. It was really nice. It was a really nice story. It was a nice, had a nice message about found family. I think it was shot well. It gave me a peer into like a good peer into Japanese life and just like the life in Japan and of the people that live in Japan. I thought that was really cool. Um, and I feel like there's so many times where we see stories of like uh, other races coming into predominantly white areas. And so I think it was interesting to see like a white character go into like be the outsider in like
Hmm.
Japan and like trying to get accustomed to the um, lifestyle there and the culture and all that. And yeah, it was just a really nice movie. It was a really nice, sweet movie, and I recommend it. Nick, what's something that you watched this
Did
week?
you? I wanted to ask about Rental Family.
Mhm.
just real quickly, like I don't know how was Brendan Fraser in the film? I'm interested in like to see the evolution of him as an actor, especially like after so much time of not being on screen.
Yeah, he was great. He was really good. He was like really good in the role.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's what gives the because he's such a touching presence. I feel like such a
Mm-hmm.
kind, sweet soul. At least the way he presents himself in like Hollywood, and that really comes across in the performance. And it's nice. It's really nice to watch. It's a nice comforting watch. I guess I would compare it to how the Holdovers made me feel when I watched that the year it came out.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember you were a big fan of that movie.
Hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Um, yeah. So this week I also watched a few things, a good amount of things. I guess I'll start off with, oh shit. I'll start off with Hamnet. I thought
Ooh,
it
I'm seeing that
was.
today.
Ooh, okay, wait. Interesting. So yeah, so I thought it was really great. I thought it was really spectacular. It's definitely, I guess it's definitely a sort of like vibe movie that you kind of have to get into like the Shakespearean vibe, but also weirdly enough, I got a lot of what was it, like a lot of like Robert Eggers kind of influence in the film. And I feel like it's also just because of the time period, because like because this is a sort of time period that he focuses on a lot, especially like in Nosferatu, and I think like Werewolf is gonna like have that same sort of vibe, but it's not a horror film in the slightest, obviously. Um, yeah, deeply personal, deeply horrifying in a way, in like a way where you don't want to see this shit. Like,
Hmm.
you don't want to see this shit, but you do. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't want to spoil anything, especially since you're gonna watch it today. Um, but I don't know. You know, you go through so much during those first. I don't remember how long the movie is. I want to say, let's say an hour 30. You go through so much during those first like an hour 15 minutes, and then it all becomes worth it for those last 15 minutes of the movie, where you're just like, oh, this is everything. This is why this movie was made. Yeah, it was a gorgeous film. Yeah, Jessie Buckley is quickly becoming one of my favorite actresses um of this generation. I'm not entirely excited for The Bride from Maggie Gyllenhaal coming out I think next year, but I'm interested to see what Jessie Buckley does in that film.
Hmm.
And yeah, Paul Mescal in the movie is great too. Um, he's not very present, but that was on purpose. Um, and also great kid actors as well. Incredible kid actors. You don't see that very often. I don't know. I was very impressed. I was very impressed with everything in the film, and as an Eternals defender, I I see this film and I'm like, Chloe Zhao has no business making a Marvel movie, and I mean that in a good way. There is she this is the sort of movie that she'd
It's
be making.
far above her pay grade.
It's not even a yeah, I guess so. It's just more like this is an incredibly like personal, incredibly grounded film that it has like no like crazy special effects or anything like that. Like it's very metaphorical, all of that biz.
Hmm.
So what the fuck was both Marvel thinking and handing a movie to Chloe Zhao, and Chloe Zhao thinking and accepting a Marvel movie, especially one like the fucking Eternals, where it like it's just insane. I will still defend that movie. I think there's quality to it. I think it's something different from Marvel, which is at the end of the day what I really want. But I also understand that it's not a great film, and yeah, there is no reason. There is absolutely no reason at all. Chloe Zhao should have made that movie. I'm glad it exists, but there is no reason that she should make it, and I'm
Hmm.
excited to see what Chloe Zhao makes in the future. Yeah, go watch it if you want. Uh, Kind of go watch it with your mom. I'd recommend. I know you're not going to, but I kept watching this movie. I was like, damn, I kind of really want to watch this with my mom. So
Interesting.
yeah, go watch Hamlet if you want, or Hamnet if you want. Devastating Time at the Theaters, which will also um, reinvent or re-spirit your love for art and the process of making art. Yeah, that's it.
Hmm. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. The next movie I watched this week was Eternity, starring Miles Teller,
I'm actually going to watch that today too.
Callum Turner, and Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen.
Mm.
And yeah, it was good. It was a nice time at the movies. It was a sweet movie about kind of what happens after you die and looking back on your life and your memories, and kind of like connection and what that means. And yeah, it's not one that's like there's much to really talk about, but it's a fun watch. I don't know if I'd say it's theater worthy. It definitely felt like a lot like a Netflix original
Hmm.
while watching it. But it's definitely like worth the watch. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you think about it next week, on the podcast.
Sure.
Nick.
Yeah, for sure. I also watched Let me get the name right. SLC Punk, which is I watched this after FNAF, um, because of Matthew Lillard. I was curious, even though well, I won't spoil it. Yeah, but I was just curious about Matthew Lillard, so I was like, okay, let's watch this like one movie that's been on my watch list for a while. I I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a great movie. Well, I thought it was a good movie. Um, Runs a little long in the tooth, and I feel like it thinks it's a little pretentious in the sense that like I think it says more than it actually does or than it actually is. Um, but you kind of go to this movie more for the I want to see aesthetics of like the punk aesthetics and the music um and the performances were great all around from like everyone, especially Matthew Lillard. I'm unsure if he can really lead a movie like he does in this film, but there is one scene in particular, like towards the very end. I don't want to spoil it, but where I'm like, oh shit, like yeah, no, he has the chops. He has the chops for sure. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a good movie. I kind of understand why it's been. I wouldn't say it's forgotten, but it's kind of been like put to the wayside of like other films in that same sort of like musical punk-ish genre. Um, but I still recommend it for like a good time. I think it's like a little over 2 hours or like 2 hours. At least it's how it felt. Yeah, it's a good time. I don't really have much to say about it. That's
Nice,
pretty much it.
nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, the next movie I wanted to talk about that I watched this week was Jay Kelly, which is a big Oscar contender that dropped on Netflix, unfortunately. Funny, I feel like we keep going back to Netflix.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was another like it was a nice kind of introspective view on the life of an actor and kind of how lonely it could be sometimes. It had a really surprisingly good performance from George Clooney. I feel like I haven't seen a good George Clooney performance in a while,
Hmm.
and it was really nice and refreshing to see a really like passionate and heartfelt one from him. Um, he- Adam Sandler is plays a supporting role in it, and it is I think my favorite Adam Sandler performance. It is one that feels like his most honest, most maybe close to who he really is as a person. Um, and so I'm happy to see he just got nominated for the Golden Globe actually. So I'm really happy to see that happening. I would hope he gets his Oscar nomination. Um, and yeah, it is a longer watch. I think it's like 2 hours 15. I mean, it's not too long, but I feel like for a drama, the sweet spot is like an hour 50 to 2 hours.
Hmm.
And so I think for a drama longer than 2 hours, I consider it to be a little bit longer.
Mm.
And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a really nice time with it, and I really connected with it. And I would definitely recommend watching Jay Kelly. I wish it was on the big screen because I think watching the performances, because that's really what carries the movie, is the performances from Adam Sandler and George Clooney, and their relationship on screen together is really good. So, yeah, that's my review of Jay Kelly.
Cool. I will be watching sometime this week for sure. Um, Yeah, I also had one more film I'd like to mention that I watched this week, which was Sentimental Value by Joachim Trier.
I hope to watch that this week. I'm really looking forward to that one.
I love Joachim Trier. I saw his last film, The Worst Person in the World, and it became one of my favorite movies of all time. I think the way that he looks into I want to go through his whole filmography. I haven't yet, but it's definitely on my watch list. Um, I also think talking about theaters, one of the reasons that I haven't gone through his filmography is that I watched the worst person in the world in theaters. I watched this movie in theaters, obviously, and even though his films are like grounded in the sense that like there isn't any like special effects or anything, they're very much about like just people and going through their lives. Um, he has a way of sort of like, I guess, embiggening them, for lack of a better words, embiggening these like experiences of these individual people and what they go through and everything like that. And I was thinking about this last night as I watched it. I was like, I can't imagine like watching this on my computer screen or on my TV. Like, I love the fact that I'm watching this film in on a giant fucking screen, like in an
Right.
empty theater. Because I was the only one who was there. It was a really late night showing, but just regardless, like that film was one of the reasons I was like, we need theaters. We desperately need theater. Whatever. It's whatever.
We come
Going
to
back
this
to the
place for magic,
exactly. We come to this place to laugh and cry, and that's certainly what I did last
to
night.
care, to love.
Yeah, no, like going back to the actual film, it's a great film. Joachim Trier, he knows what he's doing. I think what he chooses to focus on every single time he makes a film is very interesting. I know the 31st of August Oslo. I don't remember. I don't know if that's exactly the title. Was about like I think a recovering drug addict who just got out of rehab. So that's what that film is about. And then his last film, Worst Person in the World, is about like a girl going through relationships and her individual experience of going through those relationships. And then this film, Sentimental Value, is about family, and specifically family in terms of artists. So as in the father of the family is a director, and then the children of his children. One of them is just like a therapist, and the other one is an actress.
Mm.
Um, so kind of existing through that dynamic, and seeing, I guess, like all how their profession reflects on their lives, how it reflects and affects their lives, um, and then what it finally like comes down to at the very end of the film. I think all of that is very, for lack of a better words, like beautiful. Like seeing how everything goes down is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I love Joachim Trier. He's like one of my greatest inspirations, and I think at this point he can't do no wrong. I didn't even know this movie was coming out. I didn't even know he was making a new movie until like I saw a trailer for it like maybe like 2 weeks ago. So, and I'm so happy I did. Yeah, I don't know. Please go watch Sentimental Value if you want to
Yeah,
if you want to
I think I'm gonna see
genuinely.
it probably tomorrow.
There you go. If you want a genuinely good family movie, please watch Sentimental Value. Also, I think it's after if you watch Sentimental Value and then after you watch Hamnet tonight, I think it's very interesting the kind of movies that are coming out this month slash last month, and the similar dynamics that we're seeing. Because at least what I'm talking about is like Wicked and Zootopia 2. They're these films about, um, although theorized by internet people to be romantic relationships, there's these films about like these deeply personal friendships and like kind of what they go through that. And then the Sentimental Value and Hamnet are also films about family and art and how family expresses itself in art. And I don't know. I just think I think that's a very interesting pattern that coincidentally happened to come out this month and last month. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought
Interesting.
it'd be interesting. It'd be an interesting double feature. Yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. The last thing I want to throw a quick shout out to was the most recent episode of It Welcome to Derry, episode 7,
Mm.
the penultimate episode. Yeah, best episode of television that I've seen this year, I think. Really
Really?
good. Yeah. I'm really excited to see how this show's going to end. This is definitely one of my favorite shows of the year.
Mm.
And yeah, I'll give a full review when the season ends next week, but I would say now's the time to catch up because man, that episode was crazy.
We'll do. We'll see. We'll see. I'll see if I have
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Do you have anything else you wanted to mention for what we've been watching?
Nope. Those are all the films that I watched this week.
All right, so that brings us into this week's main feature, Friday Nights at Freddy's 2. I'm going to start with a quick spoiler-free summary off the internet. Here we go. 1 year has passed since the supernatural nightmare at Friday Night at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Former security guard Mark has kept the truth from his 11-year-old sister Abby concerning the fate of her animatronic friends. When Abby sneaks out to reconnect with Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, she sets into motion a terrifying series of events that reveal dark secrets about the true origins of Freddy's. Nick, what did you think about Five Nights at Freddy's 2?
Um, I have mixed thoughts on it. Is it a good film? No. Is it? Did I enjoy it? Not really. Do Do I think it deserves to exist? Yeah. I think this film isn't for me. And here's the thing too. Like I don't know if I'd consider myself a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's in terms of like catching up with the lore and like really being part of the characters and the fandom or whatever. But I liked a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's. I watched all of the Matt Pat videos growing up, and I definitely I dedicated a lot of my life to the Five Nights at Freddy's army. I'll say so. I don't know. I wasn't going in there without knowing nothing and without having any sort of expectation. I did have some sort of expectation, especially it being based off the second game, which is my favorite of that franchise. Um, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a good film. It also didn't help that I had absolutely the worst theater experience of all time. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But just to summarize, I I don't think it was a good film, but it also wasn't made for me, and I don't know. I was thinking like, should Scott Cawthon be replaced as the writer? Should we get a new writer, or should we work with another writer? And I kept thinking like, but if you take out the Scott Cawthon from the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, then is it really Five Nights at Freddy's? Um, I don't know. And yeah, those are kind of like my complex thoughts, but I want to hear what you have to say as well.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking at it from two points of view. Is it a good movie? No. No, it's an awful movie. I mean, the script makes no sense. The dialogue is terrible. Things just happen. Characters appear and disappear. Plot lines get dropped. But nobody's going to watch Five Nights at Freddy's 2 for the Oscar level script, right?
Yeah,
We're going to see the animatronics. We're going to see the lore. And from that point, I mean, I can't say I'm disappointed at all. I had a fun time. I mean, every time there's an animatronic on screen, I was uh, going ballistic. They looked so amazing. I
they
can't wait to
did.
get into spoilers to be able to discuss certain ones. Um, uh, yes, they're switching up the lore, but you know, the fact that any of the lore is happening on a movie screen in front of me, I'm shocked. Um, I was the kid that was obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's. I I would watch every video. I'd watch every theory, every Minecraft role play. I would play the games. I would be obsessed with that. I would write short stories about FNAF. I
Really?
mean, literally, yeah, obsessed. I loved it. And so this movie is for me. People say, "Oh, it's for the fans. It's for the fans." Yeah, I'm the fan. I'm the fan. And yeah, I mean, shit, it worked. That post credit scene got me hyped like a motherfucker.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's not a good movie, but goddamn, was it a fun movie? I had a blast.
that's what I mean. I guess Scott, like you, could there be like a more faithful adaptation of what these movies could be from the games? I really don't know because these kind of are the games. Like the games are like this really messy storyline timeline about what is
Yeah,
happening.
it's like this is the fun of it. It's
Exactly.
like
It's
the
like
nonsense of it. That's like the fun.
absolutely, and that's what I mean when I say like there is a better movie that exists in the Five Nights at Freddy's, I guess, world, but is that what we really want, especially if that requires Scott Cawthon not to be like a part of it? I don't think so. And I I enjoyed I genuinely enjoyed seeing kids out, I guess going back to the theme of this whole episode pretty much. I enjoyed seeing kids out in the theater, you know what I mean? And being excited to come to the theater. This is the
Yeah,
most packed
it
that I've
was
ever
really
seen.
nice. It was really nice.
Yeah, they're like coming in like cosplay and shit like that, and I'm like, damn, like, um, they, you know, this generation needs a reason to come out to the theater, and this is kind of it, honestly. There's like other movies here and there, but um, this is really it, I don't know, it does give me a little hope for the future, despite what the movie is. It does give me a little hope for the future of cinema and movies a little bit. That sounds a little funny to say, especially about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but
Yeah, I
it's kind
saw
of what I felt.
somebody like online said that this movie is like the exact antithesis to like Netflix because this is the exact movie that Netflix wouldn't had they this been a Netflix movie they wouldn't have released this in theaters.
Yeah.
This definitely would have been a streaming movie.
Hmm.
And I think it's funny that this is like what's getting people to come to the theaters.
For sure.
Um, what's it called? I think these things are so cheap to make, so even though it's gonna make less than the first one probably by the end of
Hmm.
the run. I do think I think it's almost all but confirmed at this point that we will be getting a um, third one. I my only suggestion for the third one is get a new director. Emma Tammy is not the best choice, I think, especially for this next one, which could be really good if done really, really well.
Hmm.
Get a new director, and then bring in another writer. Bring in another. Let me see. Is Emma Tammy a writer on these movies too?
No, I think only Scott Cawthon is writing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so then definitely
Yeah.
bring in. Yeah, 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 it is just him. So, Oh, no, no, no. Emma Tammy's a co-writer.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, definitely get rid of Emma Tammy. Keep Scott Cawthon just because he knows the franchise. And
It's
I
his
don't think it
baby.
would be him. Yeah, but definitely get a new director and get a new writer.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I really think that third one could be something special just because. Ugh. Can we move into spoilers so we can talk about
Sure,
it?
sure. I absolutely, absolutely. I did want to say something
Okay.
about. I do want
Go
to say
ahead.
something
Go
about
ahead. Go
Emma
ahead.
Tammy real quick. Who is she? Genuinely, who is she? In the sense of
I
like,
don't think she's anyone. I think this is like her first kind of big thing.
she's made like a few, I guess. I'm looking at her IMDb right now. She's made like a few movies here and there, and also like a few series episodes of shows. Nothing that I don't think anyone else has heard of. Um, so every single time I see her, especially when she was announced for the first film, I was like, what? Like
Why her?
who and
Yeah.
why? And then the fact that because that first film wasn't great either. It was a good Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but it wasn't great. Um, why are they banking so much on this one director? Like, she's not great. She's not good. To be frank, I don't understand it. I will say though, I did enjoy this movie more than the first one. But say what you wanted to say
Yeah.
about spoilers.
Yeah, I think I definitely enjoyed it more than the first one. Yeah, I guess my biggest issue, just so I can get the negativity out of the way, so then I could go back to supporting. I think that the ending was terrible. I think it kind of just ended out of
Mm.
nowhere. It's like they cut out like a whole act of the movie almost.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, obviously it ends with Vanessa getting overtaken by the puppet. And then that's gonna the spirit of the puppet, and then that's gonna lead to her probably wearing the Vanessa the Vanny outfit, which is her like evil. when she becomes evil.
Animatronic.
For context, in the games, Vanessa isn't part of the Afton family, like straight up. She's more of like a part of the newer saga of stories because we're no longer like current FNAF isn't covering this story anymore that the movies do. But I guess they wanted to bring Vanessa into the stories. In the newer games, Vanessa takes over this evil bunny called Vanny. And so I guess that's where they're going to be heading for the third one regarding that character. And so I just didn't like the ending with how the way it ended. But other than that, oh, I have to mention, um, it was awesome seeing Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich together in a movie again. It was something about seeing about it was awesome, and the idea of seeing them together on screen and sharing a scene together in the third one just gets me so excited.
Who is Skeet again?
So Skeet was Henry, and the reason like Henry, which is like the Charlotte's dad in the movie, and the reason why I
Okay.
yeah, and that's really cool because obviously in the original Scream, they both Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich played the two
Yeah.
Ghostface killers.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, I didn't know that was him. And I didn't know. I feel like you might have mentioned this before, but yeah, I didn't know they were doing that. That'll be cool seeing them in the third movie like that.
Yeah, they're partners again. It's really cool. I don't know. It really makes me giddy, low key.
I'm glad, bro. Yeah, the ending I didn't really care for. It was kind of like I will say I like this movie. I keep saying that this podcast. I will say I do be saying. Yeah, like I although I liked it more, I would say like I would say the higher moments are definitely high in this. Are the high moments are definitely higher than the first film, but the low moments just go so low. I was falling asleep at certain moments, specifically. Really, honestly, whenever it was Josh Hutcherson and I think Vanessa on screen, like whenever there was just them talking, or even with the little girl, I don't remember her name.
Abby.
Yeah. Who? What?
Abby. That's the name of the kid.
Abby. Yeah. Even with her, I was just like, okay, like, whatever. Yeah, I wasn't super interested in like whatever plot line they were going through, and that part was really boring. But yeah, it really does shine when the animatronics are on screen, and I do appreciate that they did that more for this film. Because I mean they know that's the reason why people are coming here to watch anyway. Yeah, the ending itself I didn't like either, but it wasn't anything I wasn't necessarily unexpecting or not expecting from like the rest of the film. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, and for it to end like that, whatever. I guess it is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Like I said, I also had a terrible movie theater experience because my theater was full of teenagers, so they were all taking pictures
Chicken
of the
jockey.
screen. No, literally, they were all taking pictures of the screen whenever any animatronicals came out, with flash, mind you, and talking the whole
Nice.
time about the lore. Which made me
Nah, you
think,
gotta
maybe
respect it.
theaters should die.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But also, it's like yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to that extent, but I was like, it's the FNAF movie. I'm going at like a midday showing on a Saturday, so like, it's
Yeah.
prime time for these kids. Like, of course they're gonna be at like
definitely.
the showing. Yeah, I don't know. By the end of the film, I was just like, I'm ready for this to be over. What I did enjoy though were those animatronics, especially the Mangle animatronic. He was one of my favorites.
Mangle was
That whole scene
awesome. Mangle was
great.
awesome. The toys looked fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Megan Fox did a good vocal performance as Toy Chica. Matt Pat is definitely doing a voice. I mean, he has one line. Like Toy Bonnie literally has one line. I don't know why they
Yeah, I
announced
do
him
wish-
playing it.
Yeah,
That
I
was
do wish
stupid.
they gave him more lines. Honestly, like I
Yeah,
was
but-
really waiting to hear his voice the whole time, and I was like, that's it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to know it's him though. He's definitely
Yeah,
doing like
absolutely.
not only is he doing a voice, it's like on top of the voice they have like the animatronic filter. So
Yeah,
it's hard to know it's him. Also Kellen Goff, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He voices Freddy. He's the typical Freddy voice actor in all the media, so it's cool to see him get the role in the movie. Let me think what else I wanted to talk about. Oh, Baby looked amazing. Baby
Mm-hmm.
looked so fucking good. Like she's it looked literally straight out of the game. It looked so perfect. I'm so excited to see what they're gonna do because obviously they didn't just create that full animatronic real life in real life to have it for 5 seconds of screen time. Obviously, she's gonna play some part into um, obviously she's going to play some part in one of the future installments. So I'm really
Mm-hmm.
excited to see where that's going to go. What else do I want to just spitfire mention about the
I'll
movie?
I'll
Uh,
mention real quickly the marionette puppet whenever I was on screen,
oh my
terrifying.
God, so
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 cool.
well done.
So well done.
So yeah, just perfect. I will say I wasn't crazy about the marionette like possessing other beings and animatronics instead of saying it in its marionette self.
Yeah, and also what that looked
But
like whenever they would possess
well,
another
I was
being. I
gonna
thought
say
that
I think it did look kind of cool.
you thought you okay. I thought it looked a little corny with the makeup and everything. Like I guess there wouldn't really be a better way to do it, especially because like if they want to be like accurate to I guess what the marionette puppet looked like, and they want to give some sort of visual to like show that like oh I'm being possessed right now. I just thought I don't know. It felt a little like face paint to me, or I was like, okay, like, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the marionette puppet possessing other people either. I was like, I wish it was actually about the marionette puppet, or I wish it was like, I wish there was more of a sense of like not necessarily possession, but more like I've taken you under my control. I guess that's what possession is, but there's different ways that they could have approached that sort of ability with the marionette
Yeah, no, I
puppet, and I
agree.
and I do wish they went about it a kind of a different way. Um,
Hmm.
I do think though that the one scene with Abby when she is possessed, and then like she's putting her hands on Vanessa's face, and like her hands are the marionette puppet hands. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. What else? What else? A few more things I want to mention. Michael Afton.
Oh yeah.
Really obvious reveal. I wish they didn't treat that as like a surprise because from the second that he said his name was Michael and they had him in purple lighting and his suit had a purplish hue, uh, and he just looked like an evil motherfucker. I could tell that that was Michael Afton. And so he kind of shows up and then he's gone for the most of the movie and then he shows up again at the end. I wish he was more in it, but I guess we'll learn more about. I guess the third one's is really gonna be the Afton movie, so we're gonna get learn a lot more about the Afton lore,
Hmm.
in the context of the movies. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, let's see the post credit scene, which I was alluding to earlier, the whole spring trap. Uh, I think he looks awesome. I think like saying the line from the game, like we found one, a real one. That was so hype seeing that like in theaters.
Hmm.
The little like light turning on, the small twitch was so good. Um, two more things. Two more things. I missed. I know that at the end of the credits there is like a audio thing from the Henry character where you
Yeah.
find out that he is Henry Emily playing Henry Emily, who is William Afton's partner. I actually missed that originally when I saw it in theaters.
Hmm.
I left after the post credit scene, so I watched that on TikTok, like a booth recording of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish they kind of revealed that in the movie. The whole because the whole Henry Emily relationship and William Afton stuff was my most anticipated thing going into this movie, and clearly it's gonna be a big portion of the next one. But I'm just tired of waiting for the next one always. I wish the next one would just be this one. Like,
Yeah.
stop saving the cool stuff for the next one.
For sure.
Um,
I
yeah,
will
and then
say about
last
that.
thing.
Oh, sorry. No,
Oh, go
continue.
ahead.
Continue.
No. So say what you want to say.
I just think it's I kind of like the fact that it's in like the post credit or like at the very end of the credits. I think that kind of keeps the spirit of the fact that like these were like mystery kind of like ARG games, like how you
Mm-hmm.
had to put the pieces in puzzles together or whatever. I like the fact that like they're still doing that. They're still keeping that sort of same spirit even with the films. It makes it feel a lot more like as a part of the games, adapted from the
Hmm.
games. I think that's
Yeah,
neat.
I think they could have either actually filmed a real scene to accompany it because it was literally just audio over
Yeah,
like the text of the credits.
yeah, I
So
was
they should
there.
have either done that or just put it directly at the end of the film before the credits rolled.
Hmm. I see, I see.
Yeah. And then as the last thing I wanted to mention is that we got to get Josh Hutcherson out of these movies. He clearly does not want to be there. Let him die in the next one because you could tell he did not want to spend a second in these movies. You could tell in the press run he did not want to be there. He did not give a fuck. And I don't know. I feel like for this there should be people who care about it. Like McKenna Grace, who clearly cares about the franchise. The actress for Abby clearly cares. Matthew Lillard, cares. Um, so I don't know. I'm, you know, he's clearly his heart's not into it. So kill him off in the next one.
I would agree. I think so. Um, One other thing I'd like to mention is I'm kind of a little over this sort of like I feel like they're doing this a lot, where a bunch of teenagers who are like scavenging or whatever, like exploring, like go into the Five Nights at Freddy's and they get killed from the animatronics. Like that's always the premise. That's always the premise for like the beginning of a scene. It happened in the first one. It happened like it happens at the beginning of this one, and at the very end with the post credit scene. I'm like, this is the only thing that you can come up with. Like seriously,
Well,
uh,
to be fair,
huh.
it is accurate to what the third one is setting up, right? Like they
Sure.
do go scavenging to find the animatronic. So it is, and it makes sense for what they're doing. They're creating their own like attraction. So it makes
Hmm.
sense to go scavenging in the. I can't believe I'm defending this movie, but it does make sense to go scavenging to go look for the stuff. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's accurate, I'm sure, and also if it makes sense to do that for the third one, then sure, fair, fine. I'm saying like I just think it happens too much. I'm like as soon as I see teenagers on screen and like at night, I'm like, okay, so these guys are gonna die from the animatronics, and like their whole point is to introduce these new animatronics or whatever. So I don't know. I'm just a little over that. But one thing I will say in defense for this film, I like the second location. I thought it looked cool. I like the
Oh
boat
my god!
segment
It
of
looked
it,
awesome. It looked
and
awesome. It looked perfect.
especially during that opening scene with like the trap door. The honestly, like yeah, like I feel that like any scene with the marionette, even having to do with the marionette, even if it wasn't in the scene, was like really cool because like that one room with the present box and it being like a hexagonal room or whatever. I thought that was really whenever we were in there, it was super interesting, super well shot. Also, I don't know. I really like the design of the second location. I thought it
Yeah,
was really cool.
they really got it, like perfect. I actually don't know how like I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. They really got the design like deliciously perfect.
Yeah.
The opening scene was great, and I really like the uh, "Are you ready, kids?" Like the over the Universal opening,
Oh yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
the Matthew Lillard intro. I thought that was a good way to get us into the movie.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
cool.
that's
So
pretty much all I have to say. I don't really have any other thoughts on the film. That kind of was everything.
same, honestly. Yeah, I'm just happy these movies exist. I'm happy they were getting them. Are they for me necessarily? No, but I will be watching the third one, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's very interesting, and I don't know if I would want these movies to be any other way. Like I said, maybe or like you said, maybe with like a different director. I guess like that'd be my only thing or like complaint, I guess. But other than that, let's keep making these movies at least till the third one. Then after that, we'll see. We'll reevaluate after that.
Hell yeah. So with that being said, that's it for episode 16 of Popcorn Problems. Thank you guys for joining us. If you made it this far, you are the real MVP. We'll be back next week breaking down the newest Benoit Blanc murder mystery, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. In the meantime, you can hit us up on socials and let us know what you thought of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Don't forget to follow, rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're using, and DM us your hottest takes and suggestions. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
Peace.